Y'all want to see my video?
Doing what he knows best, igniting a second chance for a bike and a rider. Two-stroke or four-stroke, from budget builds to best in class, from the Bakersfield Hills to the Supercross track. You're watching the London Max YouTube channel. You're watching the London Max YouTube channel.
What's up, YouTube fam? So guys, I did a thing. Probably shouldn't have done it. I got enough to do, but let's do it anyway. Let's go buy a bike in a box and put it together right here today. Start it and ride it on YouTube. Let's go. That's right, boys and girls. So you saw we just are starting to get this thing. You didn't see it like this though. Like this is, we're doing a thing on this thing now. So yeah, got the rims all together. Check these things out. If you're not following me on Instagram, you would have seen them on there. But the hubs that we Cerakoted, these Dirtbike sprockets, these pro wheels, new tires. Guys, this bike is just minty. But yes, on to today's subject. I bought a bike in a box, guys. Check this thing out. I mean, we got the full spider web thing going on here, the spider web theme. And yeah, I do have all the parts. Some are in the vapor hone, but holy mackerel, the bottom end was blowing up. Let's check it out. So I figured I'd get it at least this far to make this video a little bit more go, you know. But so this is the bottom end. It's all apart, and the cranky, it took a poo-poo. It took a poo-poo, a big poo-poo. Look at the play. Ready? Oh my goodness. How did you even... Can you guys see it? Oh yeah, you can. Yeah, there's a little bit of rod slop in there. This thing actually ran. Dude was enough of a goofball to be like, yeah, here, let me start, I'll show you. And I was like, no. And then so we hadn't talked in months and months. And then he said, hey, if you want that bike, it's in a box now. I tore it all down, and I was like, cool, I'll take it. So here we are. I already have the cases split apart. It's all cleaned. Just need to scrape this old gasket off. Got a bunch of new gaskets going on. I need to clean out some sludge and need to do a new water pump seal and blah, 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 blah. Pull out these bearings. You guys know the whole thing. So anyways, we are going to be rebuilding this thing today. On this video, we're going to be starting it and selling it. We're going to be flipping this thing. So a lot of you guys I know are really big into flipping bikes. And I tell you what, there is no better way, if you are mechanically inclined on these things, to turn a dime. Now, I've done it in the past. I used to do it a lot, and I even tried my hand for a while at doing the whole eBay store thing and parting out bikes, which is why the shop garage whatever turned into the disaster it was, is because after I had all these parts I could no longer sell, I selfishly held on to them thinking that one day someone's going to hit that listing and then I'll sell it. I'm just not a good eBay seller. I'm really not. Like the guys who are really good at that stuff, they take pictures, they do all the stuff, they itemize their stock, they put it in boxes, they have them ready to ship where all they have to do is slap a label on it, you know, and then they have like a SKU number or an inventory number or a description on the box so they know exactly what part they're grabbing and throw it. I'm like, when it sells, I'll box it and ship it, and then it just creates this whole headache too. So it just wasn't for me. But guys, you know I have an issue anyways, right? You guys know I have an issue with buying dirt bikes now and just hanging on to them, you know. I mean, come on. If you didn't know that, then God. And I'll clue you guys in on one more secret addiction of mine. Go into the secret bat cave here. So this is my secret addiction that I've had to actually do a lot of cleaning out for. But guys, these Honda Mini Trails, I'm addicted to these things. It was like one of the first bikes I got as a kid, and I tell you what, they're so much fun. Little 50cc trail bikes that literally you unscrew the bars fold down, the seats come off with a wing nut, and like even the tanks are just strapped on so you can, you know, turn off the petcock, and then there's a on-off valve right here that closes the seal on the top so the tanks don't leak they don't vent any fuel vapor. But you could totally, these things were designed to throw in the back of your car, van, camper, whatever, and take them wherever and go camping and romp around. So that's one of the things that, like, since I was like, oh man, probably 9 or 10 years old, I got my first one. Ever since then, I've just been bit. I can't get rid of them ever because they're just such a part of my past. I love them so much. But yeah, so here's a bunch of eBay parts that are not going to get sold, but here they are. Anyway, yeah, sad. All right, boys and girls, so I got the brand new crank in now. Yeah, new bearings, new crank bearing seals. These engines are so easy to work on. I can literally bust on these things all day long because they are so simple. I really, really like the simplicity of these RM85s. Yeah, wow. But anyways, so I'm gonna keep grinding. I really want to just get this engine together and we could start building on the frame, get this thing started, because we already have a buyer lined up for this thing. I knew I had all the parts to get this thing finished today, and after we get it all said and done, I'm going to show you guys the cost of the bike, how much I bought the bike in a box for, the total parts, and also we're going to see just how much we sell this thing for. Should be interesting. So nearing the last push of putting this engine together, guys. 85s, just so you know, I feel like if you're going to get into flipping bikes, 85s are probably the most lucrative because kids always need them. They are absolutely necessary as a step to getting into motocross because they're like a growing pain, if you will. You literally need them as a stepping stone to get to the bigger bikes. So you can find these things so cheap that you can literally, I think I've seen some for like $500-600 and they need a top end. But here's a problem. These things, if not taken care of properly, they will melt down a bottom end with no effort at all. And that's what happened to this one. Luckily, what's going to make this deal even sweeter is I have a gigantic extras box. So this bike comes with the option to be both big wheel or small wheel. So there's a longer swing arm in there if you want to use the longer swing arm in conjunction with the big wheel kit. You can run the small wheel, or excuse me, you can run a big wheel inside a stock swing arm. But it's nice to have all these options. I think I got a couple different mufflers for this thing, spark arresters. Like, what really made this thing appeal to me when I saw it on Facebook Marketplace is that it had so much extras with it. When a bike has as many extras as this one does, I mean, we're talking, I'll show you the box later, but it has a ton of OEM parts, brand new. Piston kits, clutches, levers, like the normal stuff that just breaks all the time. It was in this package. So I thought that made it super worth it for me. You know, anytime you could show someone like, hey, you don't have to spend money in the future on this thing. You can just go in this parts box and replace it from the parts that you have, save you money. And let's be honest, guys, the parts for these things are pretty available. In between companies like Wrench Rabbit, eBay, that Jungle website, like all of them, they make it pretty affordable to fix these things. And I think they're one of the better ones to flip. They're really, really stinking easy to work on. You know, you get different graphics kits for them to make them look new and spicy. You can, the sky's the limit, guys. But truly, what's going to make this thing so good for me is that it just came with this huge, you know, parts of extras. And I'll show you, like I said, I'll show you here in a little bit. But it's really quite rad when people, you know, I'm sure you guys have bought bikes before too, just like I have, where it has, the bike comes with extras, and then so you're like, oh cool, like, you know, it comes with maybe an extra exhaust or, you know, something you are going to use later, and so you're like, oh cool, yeah, that makes the deal sweet. But this thing like almost came with a whole extra bike of parts. And this thing literally just snaps together so easy. Ridiculous. I mean, I'm happy, right? Just trying to get down over the dowels. Where's my rubber hammer? Just a tappy tap tap. There it goes. The little alignment dowels, sometimes they could be a little tough to get down the rest of the case if there's any gunk in them. As you guys can see, I didn't take this case down and vapor hone it because the time, you got to think of your time as money too, guys. The time it would take to break down the cases all the way, take out all the transmission gears, you know, do all that. We're talking, you know, I could have 6-7 hours in this thing. And I'm not trying to rip the guy off, obviously, that I'm selling it to. I'm trying to actually do the opposite. I'm trying to set him up with a bike that's going to be lasting a long time. It's got a fresh crank, fresh pistons, fresh bottom end bearings, like new gaskets. This thing should be a good long time runner for him. And the other kicker that I'm just going to throw in, I was going to charge extra, but this thing came with a super mini kit. It came with a 103 cylinder, and it came with a 103 piston that's brand new. And then it also has a stock cylinder with an OEM piston, brand new. So, I mean, if this guy, so now we have a big wheel option where he can make this thing a big wheel in the future when his kids get bigger, and put on the 103 piston kit, which would give it more torque, and it would just be flat out faster. I mean, let's be honest, it would be fast. It gives the guy more options in the future to making this thing more adaptable to his kid and keeping it around for a longer period of time. And these engines, they're not picky. Now, I'm probably going to set them up. I'm going to set them up with some Reverend on this thing to help break it in nice. But the engine oil itself, you can almost use whatever you want. I mean, I know a lot of guys that race these things, they just put automotive grade ATF in them. We're not going to do that, but the benefits is that ATF is very light, very thin oil, and these engines are not hard on their transmission gears, so that you're able to run a lighter engine oil and just only provide lubrication for the clutch plates, which ATF is. ATF is definitely good on clutch plates, and yeah, man, we're getting this thing together quick. Top end's going together right now. Let's go. Now these copper washers, if you don't have them, you need them. Almost all two-strokes need these for expansion. So make sure they're always getting put back on. I kind of feel bad now I didn't have time to clean this thing up, because I feel like it definitely would appeal better from having a clean, fresh motor. But for as cheap as I'm going to be selling this thing for, and as much money as I've already put into it, it just doesn't make sense to spend more time like really cleaning it. Besides, when the new owner gets this thing, I mean, let's be honest, you know, how much of you guys, after you get a bike, a used bike, don't spend time cleaning it, making it look so bad, you know, so awesome again. So I'm not going to tighten this head down all the way because I cannot remember the orientation of this hose, if it's which way, and I'll be able to tell once it's on the bike. And besides, I could torque this thing better. Yeah, it actually cleans up really easy. Cool. Let's get this thing in the frame. She's coming together, guys. She's coming together. Take my time, but I'm running out of time because the buyer's gonna be here. Oh, about 2 hours. So I'm trying to like get this thing done at the same time. But trying to be mindful. Like I had to grease all these bearings because they're pretty nasty. But this thing's starting to look like a dirt bike, guys. She's starting to look like a dirt bike. So, as rough as she is, guys, this is a 2019. Now, it wasn't treated very good. She wasn't loved on very well. But it's okay because it's going to a good home and it's going to have a fresh new start on the engine, you know. I mean, it's got the old clutch in it, but other than that, she's all new, guys. Guys should be pretty stoked. I still got to put on foot pegs, rear wheel, electrical system. I got to run all the cables, start putting on the plastics, the exhaust. Like I still got quite a bit to do, and I'm trying to be quick about it. But it's dirty too. I'm gonna have to give this thing a good wash. Use some simple green and Dawn dish detergent. That's like the serum right there. I do have a new chain for it. I'm gonna be setting them up with the big wheel combo straight out, but we're running just OEM piston cylinder combo for him because his boy's coming off of a TTR. He said, like I think a TTR either 110 or a 90. So this is going to be quite a wake up. Everything from how the power hits and everything. So don't want to make it too wild for him. But I'm going to keep working this thing, guys. Like I said, I'm going to do rear wheel, chain. Got to find the radiator. I can't find it anywhere. And I'm hoping it just got set somewhere because I can't find it. And yeah, keep piecing this thing together and we're going to have a running dirt bike real soon. Well, guys, this is how she's sitting right now. It's coming out really good. However, because of the sake of I can't make stuff up on this channel because it just wouldn't make sense to make stuff up. This is a petcock, and this thing is leaking like a sieve, and I absolutely cannot find that radiator anywhere. I've been through what's left of my whole shop, garage, whatever, and it's just not anywhere to be found, guys. So I need to find an O-ring to replace this one right here. I have a feeling that's a culprit. You know, guys, when you buy a bike in the box, it's so hard to do an inventory of everything that's there. And, you know, I definitely recommend if you could buy a whole bike that just needs bottom end work, but we're missing a radiator, and two things we can do about that. I can offer him a discount for going on to eBay. eBay has those aluminum radiators with like the sweet little silicone hoses. A lot of people run them. They have no problems with them whatsoever. So I might just make a deal with him, like I could order that to your house and, you know, keep the same price, or I'll give him even more of a discount over what those things cost. So like they might be like 70 bucks on eBay. I'll say take 100 bucks off because then he's got to install it and stuff. So I might do something like that. And then, yeah, I think I have an O-ring that'll fit this here, but man, that, and the chain that he gave me for it does not have the master link, so I might need to run over to my local dealership, even though they might be closing soon, pick up a master link for that. But yeah, guys, missing the throttle tube, but the throttle, like the rest of the throttle is there, so it's missing some stuff, and I have to get creative here. But hopefully I'll figure something out and see if we get this thing started here very soon. All right, guys, so the bike is gone, and we'll get into that in a second. But let's get into the hard data real quick, okay? So we're going to write out just exactly if this was worth it to me, and I should very obviously say straight out is that individual results may vary, right? So it has 100% to do with how much you buy it for and then how much you put into it. And then selling it, obviously, I think this day and age right now, where I'm sure a lot of you guys know, like, bikes are selling for insane amounts of money right now. It's like COVID hit and bike prices went like through the roof, which is great for us that are holding on to projects or, you know, are capable of flipping these things, because it's such a great opportunity to really make this market work for us right now. So that's kind of what was the driving force behind this whole video. So RM85, what did it cost me to get that RM85 in a box on Facebook Marketplace? $500. So the bike was completely, as you guys saw, it was stripped down to a just the bare frame, and not a single bolt was attached to it. The guy, after it blew up, had every intention of taking it in, getting the frame stripped, sandblasted, and repowder coated. It just never got done. Okay, and then, so like I said, it's a 2019, but he also had no title. So here in California, that's a big deal. You don't have a title, it's a good possibility it could be stolen. But in this case, I actually knew who he was through friends of friends of friends, and he is a stand-up guy. And I'm not going to name drop because there's no point to that, but either way, I knew he was a stand-up guy. He would do something like that, and I did, just for the sake of it, I did take it down to our local registration office to make sure that the title was free and clear, and there was no records on it whatsoever. So bought it for $500, and that was everything that you guys saw in the video, plus in the box. I don't know why I didn't, but I didn't shoot anything of the actual parts inside the box. But there's like swing arm. There's a swing arm for the, it's a longer wheelbase swing arm. It's like I think it came off the RM100, so it's a little bit longer swing arm. So if he ever wanted to switch that over to maybe, I don't know, if it's a better travel, I'm not an expert when it comes to that, but I know it had an extra swing arm, had some clutches in there, had a brand new in the box top end piston kit. Oh, it was OEM, it was with it, so I was like, sure. I had to order the gasket kit. Now, I'm going to say this right off the bat. Every single part that I had to buy for this bike, I paid out of my own pocket. I did not reach out to sponsors, because I honestly don't think that's fair. So anytime that I build a bike here at the shop garage, whatever, they stay with me. I ride the heck out of them. I play on them. I beat them up. And then when I'm done, then I sell them. Sure, but I don't like to just flip bikes because sponsors help me with parts. I like to, if a company's going to help me out with parts, I want to make sure that I'm going to use that bike for some amount of time to not only appreciate all the hard work that goes into it, but to show the sponsors how much I appreciate them kicking down and helping out with these projects. So to me, it didn't seem fair for me to reach out to a sponsor, say Wrench Rabbit, and say, hey, can you send me an engine rebuild kit for this thing? Because I know they would be like, absolutely, we'll get it right over to you. But it doesn't make it, to me, it's not fair to just go ahead and flip that back into funds for myself. It just didn't seem fair. So what I did on eBay, so all right, eBay, we spent $18.99. Yeah, $18.99 on that gasket kit, which I'm actually using as the board for this. So now, let's say straight out, I don't know if any of these things are quality. At the price, it's probably debatable if they're quality as far as longevity, but I figured with gaskets, you know, if it seals and it doesn't leak, it's probably okay. But so on eBay also, I found the bottom end bearing kit. It was hot rods. I use hot rods on almost everything. Yeah, that one was $29.99. I might just round all these things to the nearest 10 because it's just easier to add it up at the end of it. I mean, so we're up to $50 right now, right? Just between gaskets and the bottom end bearings. The crankshaft itself was $180. And I don't think it's necessary to say the make of who this was made by, because I want you guys to know something, that when I'm putting together a bike, I want to take into mind that I'm selling it, I'm putting my name out there, that whoever's going to get a hold of it is more than likely going to see this video, and I want them to know that I didn't put an OEM crank, and I told them when he bought it, it's not an OEM crank, it's an aftermarket crank. But I don't care if you guys are buying Wiseco, Pro X, Hot Rods, like whatever, just know this. If you install them correctly, you break them in correctly, you use a nice thick break-in cycle, like so you run like 32 to 1. Now this doesn't apply to KTM, so don't take it that way, but Japanese models, if you use just like a thick mixture, like a 32 to 1 for break-in, then you can move to your 40 to 1, I think a lot of those cranks are great. Some of them are greater than others. I've had really, really good experience with the Hot Rods cranks. But anyways, we spent 180 bucks on the crank. Short math in my brain, we're at 230. So that was so cheap, $230. So on top of the 500, 730 bucks, guys. And I am including shipping, because a lot of these things that you buy now on eBay, it includes shipping. Some of them do not, but I made sure these did include shipping. So, but something happened. When I was putting the bike together, there was no radiator. Straight up, I went through the boxes that he gave me. I went through, like, maybe I took it out here in the shop garage, whatever, and I sent it, and I set it somewhere. No radiator, no hoses, gone. So I had to cut him a little bit of a deal, as you guys could expect. A bike with no title. It had a missing radiator. He had to get a new chain and sprocket for it, but I was able to find a throttle assembly here that worked fine for it, and everything else was fine, thankfully. But holy mackerel, I still started it for him, though it was just for a couple seconds. I really don't want that new water pump kit that I put in there. I don't want that spinning up and heating the seal, because that needs to have lubrication there. But I just started up from real quick so you can hear it. Like it fires like first kick. And I did try to film the first start of it, but my stupid GoPro, the SD card got corrupted. I think it got too full on memory and it lost it. But I'll put up a picture here. Check it out. It actually came out really, really clean. I was stoked on how it came out. Here's a shot of the other side. It's, you know, this bike, guys, for say like a 12-year-old, 13, 14-year-old kid, with the option to make it a regular 85 or a super mini. I mean, you could put the 103 cylinder that I had an extra with the piston, and then also the big wheel kit. This is the big wheel kit that's on the bike. I put the big wheels on because I wanted to show them like you can just as easily swap wheels out and then it changes everything. So, but man, I thought it was a killer deal. So anyways, total investment. You also have to figure in your time. So obviously I was like vlogging in between, so I can't say like hour per hour, but it took me about 4 hours to build it. And at a basic shop rate, is about $65 these days, guys, to get a bike done by a professional. It's about $65-ish. So I would say probably about $400 for myself just to quickly throw that thing together. So we were at 730, 400, guys. So, you know, I don't know if I paid myself enough money on this, but it was still worth it, especially because I think this is invaluable to you guys. But I gotta say, so at the end of the day, total parts plus the bike, we're at $1,130 bucks. I sold it for $1,600. Okay. When I initially texted him and told him, yeah, actually, I have a bike. I could throw it together real quick. It's crazy how things work sometimes, guys. I bought that bike in the box, totally just saw it on Facebook Marketplace, and I thought to myself, oh, dude, I can build that thing in a day. I have the parts here. My son used to have an RM85. I have some parts here. I could do it in a day. And I was missing like the crankshaft assembly, but I had like the water pump kit in stock. I had, you know, some other things to really put it together because he used to ride an RM85. But So $1,600 out of $1,130 spent. I think you guys could agree. You guys would probably do the same thing. At that point, it is kind of worth your time. And I am figuring in a $400 for me. Like, that was just for my time. So on top of that, you know, we almost made about $1,000. I asked $1,800, but after that radiator was missing, and I just didn't feel right. Like, I know he has to now go through the trouble, go order a radiator, and then he's got to take the time to put it on. He's got to find the little rubber grommets that attach and insulate or isolate the radiator vibration from the frame. And, you know, I felt bad. I really did. But he was all pumped. And then chains are cheap, especially for 85s, guys. But I felt bad. And so I told him, you know what, how about $1,600? And he couldn't have his wallet out fast enough to me. So that told me that he was stoked on the deal. Plus, I told him, you know, any problems at all, he can absolutely contact me and I'll help out any way that I can. So guys, at the end of the day, $1,600 is what we sold that thing for. $730 invested. I like that a lot. So I recommend, guys, if you can, stay away from the 4-strokes. If you're doing this from an investment side of the table, 4-strokes are probably not going to be your best gig unless you are 100% mechanically inclined to fix a 4-stroke and keep the cost down. That one is usually very hard to do. But for me, 2-strokes, gosh, you guys saw it just took a few hours to get that thing together. The engine literally slapped together in no time. But I was lucky too. You know, like with our Roadkill YZ250 that we picked up, not so lucky on that one. The smaller bore 2-stroke bikes, those things, they're really easy on transmissions, easy on clutches, suspension components are easy. Where you get into the bigger bikes, they get rougher on transmissions, rougher on clutches, rougher on suspension components, rougher on wheels, rougher on bearings, on chains and sprockets. So this concept of flipping a bike for so cheap doesn't literally cross over to the big bikes. I'm talking like for a small bike here, these 85s, 65s, they're a really great market. They have a high markup, they have a great resale, and the thing is this thing could have been a 2007, a 2003, and it probably would have sold for almost the same amount. It didn't matter that, you know, it was a 2019. I know it was a 2019, even though it didn't have a title, because the 10th digit in the VIN number was a K. And you guys could look up in Google, there's a VIN decoder. If you're not sure how to identify what year your bike is, on your VIN number on your bike, the 10th digit is the year of the bike. And you can actually look in Google and see what year your bike is per the 10th digit. So in this case, the 10th digit was a K, so it was a 2019. So it's pretty new. It's a newer bike, and but it was just so mistreated. It's had a rough life. Kid probably raced it, beat it up, and, you know, didn't take care of it. But we reversed some of that. So I'm happy that the bike sold. It's going to a good kid that's going to be learning how. But guys, $1,600, and we spent $730. Like I said, it's almost $1,000 profit. Think about that for a second. If you guys are this good where you could find 85s and it doesn't matter to KX65, RM85, YZ85 is actually the easiest if you ask me. And then yeah, CR85s are getting kind of hard to find though, and I know that a lot of guys are ripping those engines out for go-karts, so the CR85s are kind of going away, unfortunately. But God, what a great opportunity. And the same thing, like I said, goes for the 65, the KX65s. You can find them everywhere, and you can almost sell them every time for $1,500. So you got to really take into consideration how much you're going to need to invest in it, your time, what is it worth, and then see how much you can sell that thing for. Because guys, this is a great thing to do if you have the time to do it. I don't have the time to do it. I just wanted to do it because I am an absolute glutton for punishment. And I don't know why, but we did it. Thank you guys so much for tuning into the video today. I hope you guys took away something from it. If you guys love the London X channel, and the best thing that you guys can do to support the channel is to click the Rocky Mountain ATV MC link that is down in the description. Guys, that takes you to my personal landing page. Any order you make on that link down below supports the channel out tremendously, and I can't thank you guys seriously from the bottom of my heart for using that code. It really helps me out, and it funds me to help keeping this channel alive for you guys and doing the awesome things that we do with dirt bikes here, and hopefully rubbing off some I don't know, some learning, maybe some tips. Maybe you guys just learned something new today, but either way, it really helps out the channel a lot. And it doesn't matter if you're buying a pair of grips, chains, sprockets, whatever. Use that link down below. And I really thank you guys so much. Having said that, before I close this video down, I'm really excited about this one. I'm headed to Glen Helen this weekend for the 2-Stroke World Championship. Guys, I'm going to be there at the Reverend Oils tent with my boys at Reverend Motors, Corey, Colton, and Daniel. We're going to be hanging out. Come over and see me if you guys are going to be at the 2-Stroke Championship this weekend at Glen Helen, April 3rd. I really hope to see some of you guys there. Last time I saw a ton of you guys, and I can't wait to see you guys again. It's always rad. Come see me one more time before I move over to Nevada and just completely become this YouTube guy that no one ever sees in public ever again. But it's just always putting out YouTube videos. But having said that, guys, it's been a really, really great video today. I appreciate all of you from the bottom of my heart. If you guys are into podcasts, I've done 2 in the past week. One is with The Collective Experience. His video is launching tomorrow. I would post a link down below, but his video is not live yet, and I want to get my video out now. And then I did one with Big MX Radio today, and his will be up tomorrow morning. So if you have iTunes, if you have Google, any of those podcast platforms, look up Big MX Radio. I talk a lot about how the YouTube channel started out as a complete accident. I talk about the upbringing and how I came to be in the position I am now, working on dirt bikes, working on a factory team, working with pro riders. I try to leave some info for you guys to learn in there too. Hopefully you take something from it. So make sure and check out The Collective EXP. I think it's The Collective Experience here on YouTube. So you'll see that popping up tomorrow. Just after this video is going to be done, like a minute. Go check out The Collective Experience. I talk about a lot of things I think you guys will really like. And then, if you're into podcasts and you got a long drive to do somewhere, tune into Big MX Radio and check that thing out too. Guys, I love every single one of you. I will talk to you very, very soon. That's a promise. Peace out for now, guys. Good night.